G'day, we're back again. What we're going to be looking at now is some quick plot and scaling methods or printer options. This is something I think you'll find useful, especially when it comes to plotting, and we're going to be looking at a few different things, but mainly to do with outputting your job to a printer. As you can see, I've got this house drawing finished, and I want to be able to print this out, but there's a couple of things I want to do. I'm just going to do a quick preview for the client so I can actually get it off to them and have them look at it. We're not going to worry too much about sort of how it's presented, it's just a quick preview of it. So one of the things you need to do is go to the print option, go to plot. In here, you've probably seen this screen before, but in here you've got quite a few different options. First of all, you need to select your printer type. Now for this particular exercise, I'm actually just using a PDF Creator. You've got Adobe or PDF Creator, or even I think it's Qt PDF that you can use. I've just chosen this particular one for this for my machine. Choose the paper size. A3 is the one we're going to be using here, and I want to show you some more options when it comes to these other things. Now, a couple of things to look out for. Display. Basically whatever's on the screen here will get printed out. Now when you look at this particular screen here, it gives you your paper size. Because I've chosen A3, you'll find it's 297 by 420. Now again, it's only going to print what is displayed, and when I click on the preview button down here, it gives me an overall look. Now at this point in time, I'm just going to show you fit to page, and we'll have a look at it here. Now, as you can see, when it comes up, the options that are here is just some plain black and white printing. You can see here that it's not quite centered properly in the page. So if we go back into our print dialog box again, and we say, look, center this, you notice it does have a problem here, but I'm going to leave it because it's actually calculating the top, which is above this toolbar here, into the actual print area. So when we click in here again, you can see it does fit perfectly with inside the page, or scaled and everything like that. Only what's displayed on the page. Another thing I want to show you with the print dialog box is it has this little button down here. What this does is when you expand it, it gives you a lot of different options when it comes to printing adjustments. The one I chose, because I've actually made this one up, called Mono Non Pen, and I'm just going to change this to None, which means we're not going to apply any printer plot styles. It's going to basically come straight off the machine, and I want to show you a couple of options. I'm going to say no plot object line weights, okay, and preview. What you will notice is it will be in color, but you notice the lines are very, very fine, and quite often most printers will not be able to print them that fine. Okay, so there's a couple of other options. You can see in here there's sort of lines up in there. It gives you a lot of fine work, but it makes it very difficult for the printer to actually use. So what I'm going to click on now is I'm going to say, look, plot object line weights. Basically whatever you see on screen here, it's going to plot it in a very similar weight. So again, you look in here, you can see it's all slightly thicker. Okay, you've got these other options in here. Okay, it's all pretty thick, but it's probably more manageable with most printers out there. Okay, we're going to go back into the dialog box again, and the other option I'm going to say is plot with plot styles. What this does, it basically applies the plot styles that you've had inside the pen or the layer pen options. We've been through that in class, and we'll go through it again further in this lesson. Again, we'll preview that, and I just want to show you the difference. See how you got the green lines here are quite thick, because the person who's actually designed this has made these lines quite thick, and that means when it's plotted out in this form, it takes on the plotting size, which means they're very, very thick lines. Okay, and it's like a solid wall. So you can see the differences in the plotting styles. What I'm going to do is I'm going to go back to the plot with object line weights. What I'm going to show you next is the ability to choose the area you want to print. Instead of printing the whole thing, I'm going to choose the area. When you go print extends, it basically centers the whole document. You'll see when you go to publish, it sort of fits right to the edge of the page, but it scales it according to that. Okay. The other option I'm going to be showing you is the windowed one. I'm not going to touch on limits yet, but with the window one, it asks me to specify a particular window to plot. So I'm actually going to choose this particular portion of the screen, select it, it drops back into my menu here. You can see it's centered and also fitting to paper. When I preview it, you'll see it will only display or print what I've actually selected in the window. Okay. Again, the dialog box will come up. It's still on print to window mode. And the other thing I want to show you now is we're going to start looking at plotting to scale. Now what plotting to scale does, it gives you a more accurate plot, because you're actually able to scale the object to fit the page. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to deselect the fit to paper and see how it has custom size here. I'm actually going to choose a size. Now again, some of this might be a bit of guesswork. After a while you tend to get to know. I'm going to say, look, plot 1 to 100. Now when I go like and select that, you'll notice over here that it's red around the outside edge. That means it's too big for the actual piece of paper at 1 to 100. You can see 1 millimeter equals 0.1 of a unit. I'm going to change that to say 150, and as you can see 150 fits pretty good with inside that area there, and you can see here that it's plotted 1 millimeter equals 0.15 of a unit. And again, when we preview that, it comes up with this thing: the annotation scale is not equal to the plot scale. Do you want to continue? If you go continue, all that's saying to me now is this text that's in there hasn't been scaled. It is basically a fit to that particular place, but the text isn't scaled at all. Okay, that's basically what that warning is. And as you can see, there's no printout here saying that it's 1 to 100 or 1 to 150, but it still is scaled, and you can actually write that on the screen, but we'll look at that at another day. You'll also notice down the side here, if you're using the education version like I am, these particular watermarks will appear on all of your documents that you are printing from your particular machine. You notice the ones at the uni here actually have a paid version of it, and it won't have the educational product on the actual printout or the plot, but on this particular one we do. That's pretty much it. Once you're happy with that, what you can do now is basically go and plot. I'm going to apply to layout just to keep those settings, and when I go OK, it's going to send this job off to the printer of choice, which for me is the PDF creator. Continue, and basically here it is here, and for mine I'm just going to be saving this, and it's going to ask me where to save it to. For this particular thing I'm going to keep it as is, and I'm just going to save it to my desktop so we can actually have a look at it afterwards. So there, save. It's now creating the PDF, and it will automatically open it, and as you can see it's displayed there. Sometimes you will notice that it does rotate, because generally it's positioned as as landscape, but when it publishes it, it always tends to publish it as a portrait. As you can see, I've rotated it around, and I can zoom in, but pretty much that's my printed document. You can see it's all published, and I'm going to zoom out at 100%. Use the hand to have a look around to make sure everything's fitted in there. Okay, close that, and now you've actually seen that it has been published. Notice down here, if you've got errors coming on, it will actually come out with here a not a warning, just a message to say that it has printed correctly and there were no errors found. It's up to you what you do with that, but I like to have a warning, especially when it's publishing, because you don't want to send it to press or printer and find that it doesn't actually print. Okay, that's it for this lesson.